On this week's Tough Grit, we're trotting out a great show as two contestants vie for the winner's circle. Yes, we've saddled them with tough challenges that might end in a photo finish. Which one of our competitors will get Tractor Supply to pony up with the prize money? We're not horsing around today. Let's get to the starting gate for this week's episode of Tough Grit. The bend is Spider Monkey, followed closely behind by Mother's Little Helper, and into the home stretch, it's My Soup's Too Cold.
What the heck are you doing, Shannon?
Why, Caleb, I'm surprised at you. I would think you'd recognize the sound of a true horse racing professional.
Jockeys?
Oh my goodness, is my underwear showing? That is embarrassing.
No, don't tell me you're a jockey.
Well, no, not really. But when I found out today's episode was all about horses, I enrolled in jockey school, to get some experience with horses up close. They even already gave me a horse to ride.
Really? What's his name?
Slap my face. Ow! Caleb, why did you do that?
You told me to.
No, I didn't. I was telling you about my horse.
What horse?
Slap my face. Ow! Caleb, will you stop that?
Well, you just said...
I think you're just confused. You see, Caleb, racehorses have silly names. So when I say slap my face, I'm not asking you to do that. That's just what my horse is called. Slap my face.
I got that the first time.
When this episode is over, you and I are going to have a long talk.
Well, maybe this jockey school business is a little bit premature. Let's see what we get from today's episode before you go all professional horse racer on me.
All right.
Maybe you've had a horse throw a shoe at the worst possible time, or you've had to put in a call to your vet at 3 a.m. to come and deliver a foal. Or maybe you're just saddled with a co-host with little or no horse sense at all.
In any case, we've all found ourselves in a big pile of tough grit. That's where we come in. I'm Shannon Riley.
And I'm Caleb Regan. We're talking horse care today, from mucking out stalls to saddling a horse. And our experts are going to give us tips and techniques and tools to help us get it done right the first time.
And we're going to throw in a little fun competition between rural neighbors. Ready to face our tough grit challenges today are our two contestants. Let's meet them.
First up, we have Jana Droz from Rich Hill, Missouri. Jana lives off the grid with her husband, Jeff, and is a junior high school English teacher. Maintenance on the farm and home, and of course, reading occupy most of her time.
Jana didn't know that she would be here today. You could say she decided to come on the spur of the moment.
Our second contestant is Heather Cutshaw from Clay Center, Kansas. Heather's been riding horses since she was 6 years old and showing them since she was 12. She owns 1 Arabian and 2 quarter horses.
Now, Heather must really know a lot about our topic. I asked her how many years she'd been around horses, and she just stomped her foot 3 times.
Welcome to Tough Grit.
I know you ladies are chomping at the bit to find out what your project is. Your Tough Grit challenge today is mucking a horse stall and saddling a horse.
For horses to lead a happy, healthy life, 2 things are required: attention to suitable facilities and good general health care. Making sure your facilities are clean and safe means that you're doing all you can to ensure the safety and health of your horse. And of course, that means mucking stalls.
We'll also be learning a lot today about horse health, grooming, and how to properly saddle. We'll even have a farrier, a horse specialist, to give us some great horse health advice. Now, I know shoveling manure may not sound like a most relaxing morning for you, but we brought in 2 experts to make the job seem a lot easier.
Our first expert is Hank Will. Hank is the editor-in-chief of Grit Magazine and a connoisseur of all things rural.
Hank sure knows a lot about shoveling manure. Heck, that term practically describes every conversation he has.
Our Tractor Supply Company expert today is a store manager from Sand Springs, Oklahoma. Welcome, Joan Deckard.
I don't know about Joan. She claims she's an accomplished equestrian, but I've never even heard of the country of Equestria.
These 2 experts will be coaching you through your challenges today. We're looking at 3 categories: accuracy, efficiency, and safety. And whichever one of you does the best in those 3 categories will win up to a $1,000 gift card to spend at your local Tractor Supply store.
And please, feel free to keep the manure as a gift from Caleb and me.
The horses we'll be working with today are actually granddaughters of Secretariat. They're originally from the Rumney Ranch in Montana. Our experts will also be teaching you how to use some great products and tools like groundwork wheelbarrows, Little Giant DuraPitch muck forks, TSC premium pine shavings, various horse combs and brushes, mane and tail shampoo and conditioner, clipping kits, and Neutrino horse feed.
Before we jump to our first challenge, let's go to our experts to get some very important information straight from the horse's mouth.
Jana, healthy horses can live naturally out on a pasture as long as they have a companion. But you know, with our situation, we've got a lot of artificial conditions where we're required to bring horses, like the corral, or even sometimes you need to keep them indoors in stalls. Whatever your circumstances are, you should always consult an equine specialist who will know your situation, and they can make recommendations on exactly how to keep your animals safe and healthy.
Heather, when it's necessary to keep our horses in a stall, then typically they will urinate and defecate in one area of the stall and keep the rest of it clean. But a horse can produce up to 50 pounds of poop in a day and 10 gallons of urine.
Does that amount change depending on what they're eating?
Exactly. Depends on whether they're eating pellets or hay, and in cooler weather they drink less water, so they produce less urine.
Now with all that moisture, drainage and traction can be a real problem in a stall. Ideally, you could use a flooring material that's a mixture of clay, sand, and gravel. That will drain, it will have some cushion for the horses, and it should give pretty good traction if it doesn't get too wet. If you're using something like a concrete floor, you definitely want to cover that with a rubber pad of some sort, and really a rubber pad on top of the clay mixture would be an ideal situation as well.
What you use for bedding depends on what's available to you. Wheat straw is commonly used. Oat straw is also used, but your horses will eat it. And barley straw is a little more abrasive on their mouth. And then you can also purchase pine shavings or pelletized horse bedding for your stalls.
Lying in soiled bedding can lead to health problems, and it's considered by many to be inhumane treatment. So it's important to get after the stall cleaning every day. We've let these stalls go a couple of days just so that you could have something to do for this competition. But really, you need to keep that thing clean every day.
Where should we put the manure in relation to the stall?
Well, you want to locate the manure pile, far enough away from the barn or the stall so that it doesn't become a fly problem. And you need to put it in a place where it's at least 150 feet away from a water supply.
Okay.
We can take that old bedding and that manure and turn it into compost and then use it as a fertilizer on our yard and our garden and our fields. All right? I think you're ready to start mucking the stall.
All right.
For our first challenge today, our two contestants are going to be mucking out a couple of horse stalls and replacing the bedding. We'll shovel the manure and old bedding into a couple of wheelbarrows, then transfer it to two Kubota front-end loaders. The first one to halt the manure pile, return, replace the bedding, and cross the finish line wins.
You have to be thorough, and you have to get the okay from us before you move on to the next step. Good luck to both of you. Ready, set, go. Ooh, they're off to a flying start, which is something that's a little scary.
Tasty shavings.
Jones scooping up the competition.
All right, Heather, go back to the one side of the wheelbarrow. There you go. Keep going.
Jan. That's right. You just keep hammering on it. Almost got a full barrel full.
Keep going. Keep going. You're doing awesome.
Awesome. One more scoop, and I think you got to run a batch out to the loader.
Both of them got their first wheelbarrow full. Headed out to the Kubota tractors.
We'll find out which one of our contestants can shovel through their pile faster and who's just going to get too pooped when we return on Tough Grit.
Among the many decisions a new horse owner will need to make, choosing a breed can be every bit as important as selecting an individual for his temperament. You can familiarize yourself with various breed characteristics by reading, contacting specific breed organizations such as the American Quarter Horse Association, and attending local events. Once you've decided on a breed, you'll do well to search out a good farrier to look over any potential purchases ahead of time, in addition to asking an expert handler to evaluate the individual. As you get closer to pulling the trigger, you will want to find an equine veterinarian if you don't already have a relationship with one. As with virtually any pet, a happy and well-prepared owner is every bit as important to the success of an equine relationship as is the quality of the horse. Take some time to do your homework ahead of ownership, and you'll wind up with a working, playing, or commiserating companion for life.
Welcome back to our first challenge on Tough Grit. Our contestants have really been busy mucking their stalls, and pretty soon the manure is going to hit the fan.
Shannon, it's been a close challenge so far. Both contestants have done a great job cleaning their stalls, and they're delivering their heaps to the compost pile. We'll soon have a winner.
Strap in. Seatbelt.
Go ahead, lift it up a little bit and I'll dump.
Clutch. Key. Pull back, yeah. More, a little bit more. Okay, just pull back and get the lever up.
Lift it up. Start backing up. Lift it back. Go, woman.
All right, go. Back up.
Use the gas.
Quick. And then head out to your thing.
Hit the rabbit. Go with her. Go with her,
Go, going. Throttle up, throttle up, throttle up. Push that pedal hard. There you go.
Come on, Heather.
Careful with that knife. Good. Push a little more in the middle. Good job.
Way to go! That's what I'm talking about.
Congratulations, that was a good competition, ladies. Great job, you guys. Well, Caleb, what's the verdict?
Jana, I just think you got a little more manure to deal with. Heather, you finished first. You just won yourself a $500 gift card to Tractor Supply Company.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations, you were the super duper pooper scooper.
Thank
Congratulations.
you.
What do you owe your success to?
Experience.
Of course. Well, Jenna, you just stalled out a little bit there at the end. Are you ready for the next competition?
Oh, yeah.
Excellent.
So far, we've provided a clean home for our horses. Now it's time to learn a little bit about basic horse care and how to groom and saddle them. And we'll be hearing from Carrie Macy, a farrier from Alta Vista, Kansas.
We're going to trot out a lot more excitement ahead, so don't you go away. We'll be right back with more on Tough Grit. Welcome back to Tough Grit. Our two contestants have been going at our competition today with unbridled enthusiasm, but now they're excited to be joined by our guest farrier, Carrie Macy, as he answers some questions about foot and mouth care.
Carrie, you've been a farrier for more than 35 years. Can you tell me a little bit about the differences in the kinds of things a farrier does compared to a veterinarian?
As a farrier, we work on the hoof capsule. It is non-sensitive tissue, and we are able to trim it, as well as if we were going to shoe the foot, then we would be able to fit the shoe and nail the shoe on. We do not engage in any activity of the sensitive tissue.
Carrie, why is hoof care so important, and what can happen if we neglect it?
The saying of no foot, no horse stands pretty true, because the horse stands on his feet. If he's not comfortable, he'll lay down, and horses don't lay down very often. So you want to keep the feet trimmed, and hopefully you'll have a healthy and happy horse.
Gary, could you show us the proper way to pick up a horse's foot and examine it?
Yes, I would. When you approach the horse, you want to take the hand that is closest to the horse, and you'll be facing the opposite direction of the horse. You want to place your hand on the shoulder when you start on the front foot, so the horse knows that you are there and you don't startle him. With your outside hand, you run your hand down the back of the leg, just above the fetlock. You can feel the tendon area. You can apply pressure, and as the horse picks up, then you can place the foot in the palm of your hand. If you're going to go ahead and keep it up, you can go ahead and move the foot in between your legs and lock it in with your knees, and then you're ready to do whatever you want to with the foot. The way you go about picking up the back foot is you bring with your hand the closest to the horse back and place it on the hip. Your other hand, you will run down the back side of the hip, down by the hock. If they willingly give it to you, you take advantage of that. You move the bottom of the foot into the palm of your hand, and then you slide in and rest the leg on your thigh, and you're ready to address the foot in the manner that you would like.
So what care can an owner do themselves, and what needs to be left to a farrier?
Jana, if a horse owner can pick their nose, they can pick their horse's feet. The daily task that you can do is to pick their feet up, see that there's no rocks or debris in them, and that will accustom them to having their feet picked up, and they will stand better when they have their feet trimmed and shod. If you're not accustomed to the parts of the hoof capsule, then you would need to call a professional farrier to have your horse trimmed or shod.
When it comes to mouth care, Carrie, how do I know if my horse has a problem, and what might I do about it?
There's two things that a horse owner can readily notice, and that is weight loss, as well as around the feed box where they feed their grain. If the horse is dribbling grain out of their mouth, their teeth might not be meshing together, or they have ulcers on the inside of their mouth. What a person needs to do is find a vet and call them that is accustomed to taking care of horses' teeth.
Thank you so much. Hey, thanks so much for coming on the show too. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Let's get on to our second challenge.
For this challenge, each team will go through the steps to properly saddle and lead out a horse.
We'll be using all the necessary tack, of course: brushes, blankets, saddles, halters, and lead ropes. Follow the advice of your coaches and don't leave out any of the steps, or we'll penalize you 10 seconds. Good luck, ladies.
Ready, set, go. I sure hope these ladies can work quickly and quietly. We don't want to spook these horses, or Hank. And don't you get spooked either and run away. We'll be right back, and we'll find out which one of our contestants can saddle up and rope in a victory.
Taking proper care of such a majestic animal is a very great responsibility, but it doesn't have to be hard. Most caregiving can be worked into the time you spend with your horse. Grooming and examining your horse on a regular basis will allow you to nip most health problems in the bud. A clean, well-cared-for horse is less likely to get sick, and because you spend enough time with your hoof companion, you'll notice most problems before they get serious. Proper nutrition is a key part of maintaining health, and your horse is no exception. No matter whether you turn your horse out to graze or feed them hay, supplemental vitamins and minerals will put a shine on their coat and a spring in their step. Another thing to consider when you're caring for your horse is protecting them from parasites like worms and ticks. You can limit your horse's exposure by changing their stall bedding on a regular basis and keeping edges and fence lines mowed short. You should also immunize your horse against viral infection. You can give many of these vaccinations yourself at home. Discuss injection techniques and aftercare with your veterinarian, who can also tell you what vaccines are appropriate for your area. Sharing life with a horse is an adventure well worth having. If you run into any questions along the way, the folks at Tractor Supply will be more than happy to help you figure out your next step. Whether it's helping you find a breeder, farrier, feed, pharmaceuticals, or just some clean bedding.
Welcome back to Tough Grit. Our two contestants are racing right now to see who can brush, saddle, and lead out their horse in the second challenge.
Oh, it's going to be tough. You know that old expression, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't let it lead when you go out dancing. The first one to correctly brush, saddle, and lead their horse out to the finish line wins. But it's not just about being fast. Safety is important too.
Good to go. When working around the rear of a tame horse, keep a hand on them as you move to let them know you're there. A lot of horse kicking incidents happen simply because the horse didn't know someone was behind him and got spooked. Contestants have to keep safety in mind, or we'll stop them for a 10-second penalty.
Easy, girl.
And I was afraid this was going to be a nightmare.
time.
Great job, you guys. As far as we're concerned, you're both winners. But there were some time issues. So Caleb, what's the verdict?
Janet, you saddled your horse, let it out, no safety penalties, extra movements or anything like that. You finished in 2 minutes and 3 seconds. Heather, you also saddled your horse and let it out without any safety penalties. You finished in 2 minutes and 18 seconds. So Janet, that means you just won a $500 gift card at Tractor Supply Company. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Jenna. What are you going to get there?
All kinds of horse stuff.
Excellent. And Heather, you're not going to be left out because you won on an earlier challenge as well. So you also get a $500 gift card to Tractor Supply Company.
Thank you.
Did you have a good time today?
I did.
Excellent. That's great. And if you're spurred on to become a contestant on the Great Rural American Challenge, here's how you can become a contestant on Tough Grit.
To sign up, go to toughgrit.com and click on the I Can Do That button, or look for the advertisement in Grit magazine. Don't wait, sign up today. So now you know almost everything you need to know about proper horse care. And if you'd like to learn more, visit toughgrit.com. I'm glad you could join us today, and I look forward to seeing you in the future.
Hey, Caleb, the jockey school gave me another horse to ride.
Really? What's this one's name?
I think I need a hug. Oh, why do they give me these horses? I'm Shannon Riley.
And I'm Caleb Regan.
And when you see us coming, you know you're in Tough Grit. Next week's episode of Tough Grit will span the ages through this week's rule challenges. Our contestants will begin in modern times, where gates open at the touch of a button. Then we'll harken back to the early cattle herding days of barbed wire and branding, to a time not so different from today, where mending a fence was a necessary but demanding chore. Join us as our challenges take us through time and tough grit.